Hello everyone. This is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SweetDash. I'm excited to introduce you to Form Cannons, which is part of our Plus Bundle Power-Up. Form Cannons is one of the most powerful features we have in the platform as it relates to convenience and reducing friction for your clients. So you're going to want to pay attention. I'm going to try to make this a 10 or 12 minute video, so let's go ahead and get started. When you are working with prospects or clients, you need them to complete forms, but one of the challenges is getting them into the platform, which means they have to log in, they have to follow a link, they have to get to the login, they have to find the form, they have to complete the form. And this is necessary because we need to know who this person is in a positive way, not just clicking some random link that has no association. We need them to log in to access the form properly. But this is where Form Cannons comes in and offers you a much more frictionless experience because you're actually putting the links into your prospects or clients' inboxes where they click and there's no login necessary. Literally one click and they open the form and they can complete it. We know who they are because we build that into the URL and everything works just as it should. So if I want to create a Form Cannon, I'll click here and I start the process. I can choose between an immediate one-time send, which means I'm going to create this Form Cannon and send it immediately, just one time, or I can package up a Form Cannon is a good way to say it, and I'm going to use that and reference that later in an automation. So let's try that. I'm going to go for use in automations, and now I'm going to create a title that I'm going to reference. Okay, so title just for your reference, we'll call it, just to illustrate. No one else will see this. This is just for your side to reference it in an automation or know which package of forms you are about to send out. So now let's go to next. And here we're going to select the form or forms, it's important to say. You can use multiple forms. Let's choose these ones. Okay, so it's important to point out that you can choose any form, kickoff, update, or general, or any combination of those. And that's what I've done here. So when I send this Form Cannon to the target, they will be asked to complete both of these forms. Okay, and you can have multiple forms here, 10, 20 different forms if you like, but the point is you can create multiple forms. All right, let's go to next. Here you can add some sort of security if you need to. If that's applicable in your situation, you can expire it after a number of days. You can secure with a password. And also you can have someone on your staff notified when the target is viewing the form. And then on the next, you can modify the default template. You can modify this also in email templates, but this gives you the opportunity to modify it at the last minute on the way out, maybe some personalized information here. You just want to make sure you leave these placeholders in place so that they can be replaced with the links. And now you can adjust the subject line, the email, and then you're just going to go ahead and just click activate. Okay? So now this Form Cannon is ready to be fired by an automation, as it says here. And you can reference and trigger this from the No Code Automations widget, or it can be manually triggered directly from a contact or from the contact list or dashboard. Okay? And let's look at that. We'll click done here, and now we'll see title just for your reference. This is the Form Cannon that's sending out those two forms. Let's look at how it works. Okay, so here I am in the contact list, and I've done a quick filter search for Harrison Ford. Here he is, and now I want to trigger that Form Cannon to send those form links to Harrison Ford. Easy. Just go here, fire Form Cannons. Let's look. Now let's look for our reference title. Here it is, title just for your reference. We did it together. Boom. And fire. Done. That's it. An email goes out according to the email template. It will include the links to those two forms, which Harrison can then click immediately from his email, open, and complete the forms. The links that he receives are coded and hashed, we call it. And inside that hash is all the information we need to understand which form it is, which client it is, all the things we need to associate the data that's entered into the form with Harrison Ford. And keep in mind that all this is done without Harrison having to log in at all. Okay, so he just clicks a link in his email, he accesses a form that's completely non-logged, he completes the data and submits, And you'll want to design your forms to be sort of standalone. We'll look at that in just a minute, but here we've shown how you can trigger a form cannon to be sent directly to an individual client on demand. It's already packaged up. You already know what is there, but you or your staff have run into this place in your business logic where you say, okay, Harrison needs this particular form cannon. It includes these forms. We know that. Send it to him, let him complete those forms, and that will help us move to the next step in our business logic. Okay, so now let's look at how you can use these form cannons in automations so that you can build them into automated workflows. Let's go down to the automations menu item. We see in automations there's email cannons. This is part of the Plus Bundle Power Up. Form cannons, part of the Plus Bundle Power Up. And then auto templates is here, and this is Pinnacle only. Auto templates are the newest way to access the no-code automation widget and to predefine and save a series of automations. So let's click auto templates and it'll become a little more clear. Okay, so there are 3 auto templates saved here. Each one of them consists of a series of automations that are saved. So this one has 3, this one has 11, this one has 2. Let's go ahead and create a new one, add auto template. And let's just say we're building an auto template to send a form cannon based on the payment of an invoice, for example. So our plan is that after certain invoices are paid, we're going to trigger this auto template, which can do any number of things, but one thing we're going to focus on here is sending of the form cannon. So we'll just say after invoice is paid, and that'll be our title. And let's go ahead and add the automation. And here, let's do a search for cannon. Okay, now fire form cannons. That's what we want to do. And now we'll choose title just for your reference. This is the one we made together. And now let's just save this auto template. Okay, so now it's saved. It has one automation, which we know is firing the form cannon. We can go back in and save other automations as a part of this. Add a circle, remove from circle, or any of these other things. But for now, this will work for us as far as an illustration. Okay, so now we're going to close this. And now we can reference this auto template anywhere if we want to, say, not have to rebuild this automation in multiple places. We can start with the auto template and add to it, or we can just bring in the auto template as the series of automations. So let's complete that thought by going to add invoice. Okay, here we are. Let's say we're going to go to Harrison again. We're going to create this invoice for Harrison. In the previous example, we triggered this manually, but in this example, we're going to back up and say he hasn't received this yet. First, we're going to send him an invoice, and then when he pays the invoice, we want it to automatically then send the form cannon, okay? So we're going to say invoice before form cannon. Okay, and I'm just going to leave all this as it is and just add random things. But the important part is here, configure automations, okay? So we can come in and add the automations if we'd like, or we can apply an existing automation template, which I said would be after invoice is paid, okay? And boom, here it is. It inserted all the data from there. We can add more now, but this is a good starting point. This keeps you from having to replicate these actions. If there's 4 or 5 that you need to accomplish, you don't have to replicate them over and over again in the case that you find that to be inconvenient or time consuming. So this helps you shortcut that process. And we're good now, and we can click save. And so now, when this invoice is paid, the form cannon will be fired straight away, and Harrison, or whoever pays the invoice when it's configured in this way, will receive the email with direct links to the forms. They can then complete the forms and will receive the data. So after you configure your form cannon for use in automations, then it's available to you in places like this to be fired automatically based on the trigger event, which in this case is the payment of the invoice. All right, so now we're going to look at what Harrison sees. So the person we're sending the form cannon to, or also known as our target in the automation. Okay, so this is the default email template. You can modify this, but you'll see here that dynamically the placeholder has been replaced with 2 links to the 2 forms that we referenced, okay? And if you click the form link in the email, it directly takes you to the form. And notice this form is somewhat formatted so that it can stand alone without anything else, meaning not a header, not a menu or anything of that nature. It just is designed to look okay by itself in a browser. If we look at this other one, we put this in here to show that this form is really more of a naked form meant to be embedded. So you might have your forms that are styled in this way, and that's okay, but you probably want to look for forms or design forms that are a little bit more standalone when you're talking about form cannons, because your recipients will be looking at them in a browser like this. So it's better to format them or find forms in the template library that are formatted for standalone in the case of form cannons. Now also notice that in this form there is already pre-filled information for Harrison Ford, and that is because in the hash that we discussed earlier, we know that this is Harrison because he clicked the very unique link that we sent to him, and so we're able to configure the form so that it will pre-fill the data that's already in the database for these, in this case, first name and last name, or any custom field data that happens to be in the form. If you already have something in your database for Harrison Ford, you can elect to show that so that they can see what you have and then modify it if they want. So that's also a possibility when it comes to form cannons. And now, as a final thing before we leave the idea of form cannons, be sure that you take advantage of the template library. If you go to the template library and you look and sort by the type forms, if you scroll down to form template, you will see there is page after page after page of form templates, more than 10 here. And you can see that these are the types that are meant to be standalone, for example. And if you look through here, you'll see a lot of different content that's specific to accounting or website design or coaching or any other of the niches that are very popular in our platform. Take a look through here, look at some of the options, and then decide if you'd like to use one of these. You can very easily do that by clicking Add Template. It will then add the template directly into your account, and you can load that template when you create new forms. So the template library is a very, very powerful way for you to find nicely formatted forms, even that are already built for you, with the prompts and the formatting to shortcut you as you work towards this. And then you can use them in form cannons to send for your prospects or clients and get the results that you're looking for. Okay, so that completes the demo tour for form cannons. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
If you had seen me trying to figure things out, my head was spinning, my success was in doubt. But now the search is, the pain is over.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not searching, not anymore. I found just what I need. I'm not paying, not anymore. It's mine for life, and it looks just like me. Constantly I was on my knees, spending way too much in fees. No one in my team was pleased. All these things I was juggling, but now my life is easy. Everything's in one place, and it feels so free. Yeah, I can't be wrong. Did I mention their guarantee? I'm not searching, not anymore. I found just what I need. I'm not paying, not anymore. It's mine for life, and it looks just like me. Now I hope that you're listening. You can be just the same as me. The only thing you'll ever need is right here, but hurry please. Then your life can be easy. Everything's in one place, and it feels so free.